Go.
Good morning everybody. Good morning to our friends in America e buon pomeriggio agli amici in Italia. For those who don't know me, my name is Maurizio Gamberucci, Deputy Director of the Italy America Chamber of Commerce South Central. We are active in Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. I'd like to welcome everybody again to the 7th episode of our webinar series, Challenges and Opportunities in the Post-Pandemic Era. The opportunity we'll be featuring today is represented by an online platform whose goal is to connect wine producers with buyers nationwide across the whole nation in the United States. So let me welcome, first of all, and thank our special guest for today, Jack Cohen-Martin, founder and CEO of GrapeIn, and Ron Prashker, which is an advisor to wine producers and works with GrapeIn as well. Also, we have another special guest today from Los Angeles, California. I'd like to thank and welcome Jenny Navoso, Executive Director of the Italy America Chamber of Commerce West, based in Los Angeles, California. Jenny and I will briefly explain how GrapeIn will help the producers participating to our events in September, Taste of Italy, Houston, Los Angeles, and New Orleans. I'm also grateful to Jeremy Parzen for being our moderator today too. Hello, Jeremy. Thank you for being here again. He has been our moderator since the first episode of this journey online. A couple of technical things for our attendees. The recording of the webinar will be available on our website shortly. And we're also live on Facebook. If you have any questions or comments, you can use the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. The Q&A section is already available and open if you have any curiosity, feedback, or question. We'll run a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So without any further ado, I leave the floor to Jeremy. You guys enjoy the conversation.
Thank you so much, Maurizio, and thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Jack, Ron, and Jenny. This is one of the most exciting webinars in the series for two reasons. First of all, Jack and his team of the founders of GrapeIn are literally set out to crack the nut that everybody in the wine industry, not everybody, there's some people who don't want it to be cracked, right? But a lot of people who we know as the chamber would love to crack, and that is how to get into the US market without going in through the three-tier system. And Jack's going to tell us about what the platform does and what it can do for you as a winemaker. And Ron is going to give us some insight about what it's like to be a winemaker. He's been a consultant with the company, but he's also a winemaker who's working with the company. So we're going to get some insights from him. But this is one of the biggest questions. I'm a small producer in Italy. How do I get around the big channels of distribution to get into the American market? And how do I find that small wine shop in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Right before the pandemic, I was in Tulsa. I found this amazing wine community there. They want to get in touch with winemakers like Ron, who makes super groovy Sangiovese in Tuscany. But they can't because most small wineries can't get into the big system. The second part of this that is so exciting is that GrapeIn, Jack's company, has partnered with the Chambers of Commerce and our Taste of Italy trade fair, where his company and their platform is going to facilitate not only reaching buyers, reaching distributors, finding ways to get small wineries to small retailers and distributors in the United States, but we're also going to be using the platform as an integrated element of our Taste of Italy virtual fair, which we're going to hold this year. So I don't want to take any more time away from these guys. I just want to tell you that this is super exciting, and I'm really glad you're here. I'm going to give the floor to Jack. And Jack, tell us about how you came up with GrapeIn, how you and your partners built the platform. It was so exciting to walk through it the other day with you. So we're really looking forward to that segment. Go ahead, Jack. Thank you for being here.
Sure, will do. Thank you so much. Good morning from New York. Good evening, Italy. I'm Jack, the founder of GrapeIn. And let me share my screen Just a second. Okay. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Yeah? Good. It's an honor to partner with the Italian American Chamber of Commerce. Together, as mentioned, our goal is to bring you, the suppliers, to enable you to grow your business and sell more profitably by connecting directly with trade buyers, and by helping you build your brand with online marketing, and basically enable you to use technology for growth, and also doing so while obviously navigating the strict US market regulation, which is part of the game here. The way we got to it, or a bit about us, we're a diverse team. My background is actually in advertising technology. And a few summers ago, I met friends in, in Tuscany, and that's where I kind of started realizing the pain and the fact that there's a disconnect, right? And a huge disconnect in the industry. While working in advertising, I worked for a big data company servicing big brands, HP, Microsoft, and one of the brands was Pernod Ricard. And that's when I realized that this industry still didn't make a full transition to digital. So a few wake up steps in between, and also I like wine, so that helps, as with a lot of other things in life. Ron, who's gonna also join us in during the Q&A, owns a winery, and he's here in New York, and he opens my eyes to a lot of you know, the issues in the industry. And on the call, we also have Ben Salisbury, who is an industry social influencer, as I like to call him. And he brings rich experience consulting to both small and bigger producers. And our mission as a group really is to democratize technology and know-how that is currently mostly available to the big guys, and bring it to the long tail of brands, to the smaller brands. And for the past, so the way we got to it, Jeremy, for the past year and a half, we've been working with small, medium-sized suppliers, helping them with online marketing, grow demand with both trade buyers and end consumers. And while working with these small, medium-sized businesses, we're also talking to the large suppliers who had no problem talking to us because we're a technology provider. There's no competition there. And what we've noticed, we're talking with all of these interesting businesses, big and small, is that the big guys tend to usually connect directly with the large retailers, and then have the distributors facilitate the sale, where the smaller suppliers are by and large very much dependent on the distributors to sell them. And that's what we're trying to some extent change, is to bridge this representation gap, where the owner of the product, the maker, right, is disconnected from the trade buyer and definitely from the end consumer. And leverage technology and data to enable the buyers and the sellers to connect directly. Now,
go ahead, Jack, go ahead.
Now, what we're building is a virtual network that connects buyers and sellers. And there are three main interfaces to this network. There's the supplier interface, which is obviously a user interface online that is used by the suppliers to control the way their products are represented in front of the trade, and also communicate with buyers. There's the AI buyer service, which is enabling buyers to discover products that otherwise they wouldn't hear about. As you mentioned, someone in Texas discovering this craft and not that small producer, Ron in Tuscany, right? With awesome product. So that's what the buyer service is doing. It also allows them to launch RFPs and say, hey, I'm looking for this and that. Help me find it. Let's connect. Let's talk. On the background, we're leveraging marketing automation and live audience data to enhance connectivity, to have these buyers and sellers find each other and connect and go back to a platform and remember each other. And also enable the small brands to grow their brand while advertising to end consumers. Up until recently, we've been mostly focusing on suppliers that have some distribution, even if a small footprint, something in the US. What we're doing now, as mentioned, is launching our premium service, which will basically turn us into a one-stop shop and give also clearance and logistics services to the small suppliers to eliminate the issues that are technical and have them really connect and sell. And that was triggered partially by the connection with Maurizio and the Italian American Chamber of Commerce.
And Jack, I'm just going to ask you to stop right there. There's so much to unpack here, so much great stuff. Again, this to me is one of the most exciting companies that's happening, that's launching right now. There's no upside. I always say there's no upside to the pandemic, but it's really interesting that this platform, during the pandemic, this is such a fantastic way for people, for winemakers to connect with buyers and ultimately consumers in the United States. Really interesting, the marketing component, really interesting, the logistics component. I want to shift over for a minute to Ron. Ron, thanks so much for being here. I'm just going to give a bit more time to Ron's wines because I think they're super great, groovy, authentic, wonderful Sangiovese from Montepulciano. Ron, can you tell, thanks for being here, and can you tell us a little bit, you're a winemaker, and it's not like you became a winemaker yesterday. You've been a winemaker for some time now. Can you tell us some of the things that appeal to you about this platform and how you got involved? What made you want to get involved with this? Thank you for being here.
Right. Thank you. So yeah, I've been at the winery at Salcheto since 2008, so it's been some time. What's important to understand, and I think Jack touched upon it, and really is the meat of this problem and why this is something that drew me, is that today the biggest issue you have is that the distribution arm, that second tier, doesn't want, and I don't want to use not nice words, it doesn't want to work for you if you're a small guy anymore. And I mean, we make almost 500,000 bottles, so we're not even small, but even us, we're considered small. And the biggest problem today, and you saw it even 10, 15 years ago, but it was different. It's happened over the last 10 years with the consolidation of all the big distributors, is that today, when you sell into your distributor, when you get an importer, and an importer as an Italian producer buys you, you think, okay, my job's done. I got my check, I gave them the product, they're not going to go sell my product. And the big issue is that that's only where the job begins nowadays. And it has been, always in a certain way, but more today, that you have to actively be in the market yourself, and you actually have to be out there reaching the buyers, be it restaurants, okay, maybe less today, stores, and even the end consumers, of course, today. And the important thing is that you want to do that because you want to own that relationship today. And today there are so many different tools that we can use, technology, like Jack said. If you come from, and I come from a technology background also, and have worked in it. If you come from technology, or if you come from other parts, Amazon is the easiest example, obviously. You know that there's tools out there to own the relationship with your customer. But for some reason in the wine world, especially in the US, because of the three-tier system, it's been blocked. And technology can really help us reach that. And that's what I saw in GrapeIn and in Jack's idea of connecting and using his background in data science and in e-com and in advertising to reach the buyers who are going to buy the wine. And you really want the relationship. And in reality, the same thing that's happening on the distribution side and the producer side, where you can't reach the buyers anymore, is also happening on the other side. The buyers also are feeling disenfranchised or feeling disconnected from the producers because of the big, huge chains and the big, even online buyers that are coming in, and the distributors treat the small buyer the same way they treat the small producer. They don't really care to interact too much with them. They don't want to really have them reach you. They just want to sell them their whatever they is that they want to sell. And the buyer is just as thirsty to reach producers and quality and authentic and craft producers, be it in wine or spirits, that as much as the producers are eager to really reach those guys. And by having that connection through GrapeIn and that relationship, you start owning as a producer your customer, be it the buyer or even the end consumer. And at the same time, the buyer has more of an incentive to want to sell you because he has that personal connection to you.
I love the way you're too gentle, you're too delicate, Ron.
I'm being nice. I know.
That both the winemaker and the buyers actually feel disenfranchised by the system. The system's not designed for the young, progressive, hip buyer that's sprouting up, like I said, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought in Houston, in Austin, that you'd have all this wave of young people who want to get in touch with winemakers like you, but are stifled. And again, one of the things, no upside to the pandemic, but one of the things the pandemic has showed us is that the 3-tier system is outdated. I'm just going to go ahead and jump in there because I think.
Well, what the pandemic has really done is really accelerated everything. And so we've known that the 3-tier system's kind of been outdated, but everything around the world, the pandemic has accelerated. So this is just another accelerant of the pandemic. Sorry, I lost my earphone.
That's okay.
So yeah, I definitely agree.
Really, like I said, this is a topic dear to my heart, and what you guys are doing is a cause dear to my heart for a lot of reasons, and really great information here. Now, next, I want to shift back now to Jack. Jack, can you show us a little bit of, say I'm a winemaker like Ron, or I'm a winemaker, anywhere in Italy. What is it going to look like on the back end? I know one of the questions is, what's it going to cost me? What is it going to get me? I'm really interested in the marketing. I love your guys' idea of this is connecting you with buyers. So can you walk us through that, Jack? And thank you.
Yes. So right now I'm connected. I'm logged into the system as a small trade buyer here in New York. And what the system shows me is the top. I get the top recommendations of what the algorithm, what the system believes that are good match products that have a good match to me. And the way that the system match buyers with products is by identifying the type of business, what type of licenses you have, where you're located, who are the audiences who live in the area, what the season is. And as you mentioned, we meet a lot of trade buyers who are young and are saying, hey, like, I don't necessarily want to talk and meet with people all day long. I want to be able to log in somewhere and connect with products that otherwise I wouldn't identify, that are not widely available across all of the distribution channels, all of the big distributors. I want something special. I want to talk to small businesses who make these products. So these products are widely, since this business is in a young neighborhood, you see some labels that are less known. You also see craft wine, organic, natural. You also see these 1 liter bottles that are good value because they're priced at $7.50 and may be good for by the glass, or now with the pandemic, people like get them home and and enjoy themselves. And there's also this interesting wine, who's also part of our, he's a member of the program. And as a trade buyer, I can either click on this button and search for more products and be more granular, or I can even start an RFP and tell the system, hey, I'm actually looking for wine that is from Italy, and I want to distribute it in New York and maybe also in New Jersey, because I have 2 locations. I need it by, let's say, the end of next month, and I'm looking for a red wine from a specific region, maybe Calabria, and what the price range is, right? And once I submit this, it allows all of the sellers on the platform to reach out to me. If I choose to use the search functionality, there's more tools here where I can actually look for that wine, red or otherwise, up to a certain price point that has active distribution in New York, and I'm looking for an Italian wine. And here I'm going to get a few products. One of them is this wine. When clicking on it, I can read more about the product, see prices, print a shelf talker, see the technical information, images, videos. I can also read more about the producer. Where do they have active distribution? And especially for the event, I can even book a meeting with this producer. Because in this case, this producer is part of the Taste of Italy event that is up and coming. I can see videos and images from the producer. And I can also see that this producer specifically is linked with the Taste of Italy event, where I can go and browse more of the products and read more about this event, and maybe book more meetings. All of the messages on the system, by the way, if someone is messaging you or asking for a sample or looking for more information, there's a built-in messaging functionality, kind of like a small CRM, very intuitive, very easy, where you get the buyers and the sellers on the same channel communicating. And you can choose how they're going to deliver the sample or how you're going to deliver the order to that buyer.
Jack, I have to jump in here. I got to say, as a wine buyer myself, I still work as a wine buyer in some capacity, but I worked for a long time as a buyer. This is a dream platform because it allows me, instead of a rep banging on my door who has a bunch of wines that I can't even use, I can identify the rep, the company that has the wines I can use, and then reach out to that rep. You know, in a lot of ways, 750, the platform 750 was the first step toward this, but you guys have added all these cool, all 750 allows you to do is see the inventory. This allows you to interact, to research. This is just such a godsend for so many of us in the wine industry. Really, really great stuff. We don't have a ton of time, and we're gonna get back. We need some time for the questions and Q&A at the end. But I want to shift now back to Jenny and Maurizio and talk a little bit about how we're integrating. GrapeIn is going to enhance the Taste of Italy. You know, you're a winemaker in Italy. You're part of Taste of Italy. Maurizio, do you want to start? Jenny, tell us a little bit about how it's going to work with Taste of Italy and also Savor Italy in Los Angeles. So Maurizio, you want to go first just because we're here in Texas?
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'll leave the floor to Jenny. Thank you, Jack, and thank you, Ron, and thank you, Jeremy, for all this presentation and information. And you know, you give a lot of context as well, both of you, all of you, to what is the relationship between wine producers, a wine buyer, and us that are in between those two sides of the ocean as the chambers of commerce. Our goal, as you guys know, is to connect who has a product with those who might be interested into that product. We have been doing this in many different ways: events, trade shows, fairs, B2B meetings, or trade missions. But you know, kind of thanks to this pandemic, we accelerated our business model in a way that we were looking so much for a platform that could help us, you know, to accelerate this process. And we found Jack and Ron and GrapeIn as a great tool that can help. So what is going to happen, most of the attendees already know that we're going to hold the Taste of Italy, Houston and New Orleans, and the Savor Italy in Los Angeles next September. So we'll have this tool where all the participants' wineries are already listed in the page that Jack has briefly shown. Buyers will have the opportunity to land into that page, go through the list of all the wineries, click in every one of those, see the products, and you know, ask more questions if they want to, but from the same profile, the specific platform for the producer, they will have the chance very easily and straightforwardly to click on that button, book a meeting, and get to their own calendar and choose the time slot available for them to book the meeting with that specific producer in Houston for September 21st and 22nd, Los Angeles 23rd and 24th, and New Orleans 28th and 29th. So this is a process we have been working on with a lot of energy, and we're so happy and glad to get to this point right now with so much efficiency. We are still working on fine-tuning some things, but it's gonna work very, very well, regardless of the cases situations, regardless of how many coronavirus will be around those days. We'll make that happen. Buyers will have your wines in front of their computer and will talk to you, no problem. Jenny, please.
Yeah, Jenny, please jump in. And if you guys don't know Jenny Navoso, she's from the Italy America Chamber of Commerce West in Los Angeles. I've had the opportunity to attend Savor Italy in the past. It's a great event, great people. There's a great Italian wine and food scene out there. Jenny, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen at Savor Italy this year.
Hi, thank you so much, Jeremy, Maurizio, Jack, and Ron, and buonasera a tutti in Italy. Thank you for having me. It's pretty much what's going to happen with Taste of Italy. Savor Italy is going virtual. The pandemic, as you guys have said, has accelerated what was inevitable. You know, the wine buyer is evolving, the food buyer is evolving, and so we feel in Los Angeles and all the West that it's time for you know, our companies in Italy to leverage technology and truly allow them to meet the new customer needs. You know, in Los Angeles, we have seen such interest response to the pandemic, restaurants becoming small retail shops and creating this new direct route from buyers to the consumer table. And so we really want to leverage that, explore that, go deeper. And we feel that this platform is going to do it, you know. And so Savor Italy, Taste of Italy going virtual September 23rd, 24th. And for the companies participating, we will have interesting connections and meetings online.
It's really, really great stuff. This was bad. I mean, we've all said the same thing, that this was bound to happen, and it's finally happening now. And it's something that it's just great that we're able to devote this energy and attention and focus to it. Now, Maurizio, do you want to give us some questions from the floor for Jack and Ron, or?
I do, absolutely. And another little note that, you know, for those participants that are already registered for Taste of Italy and Savor Italy, the partnership with GrapeIn is great in a way that all these producers will have at no cost presence on the platform until September 30th. So we'll be part of the promotion of the event. There will be also part of a promotion that the winery can do by itself. So after that, well, you know, the relationship between you guys as a producer and the platform will be independent from us. And Jack was suggesting me to show also the landing page for registration. Jack, do you want to cover that part as well and show how that works?
Sure, it's pretty easy.
It's fairly new tool, so I don't want to say something which is...
We'll share this link later, I assume, Maurizio. There's a landing page on the GrapeIn website that basically invite everyone to join to register to the platform. And to those of you who are part of the Iacc and part of the event, once you register, we'll identify you and immediately connect you with your brand profile. So that should be a painless and easy way to jump on board.
Great. So we'll send all the producers signed up, of course, this link later today. So I have here a question from Simonetta. Hi, I'm an importer and distributor in North Carolina. I'll be part of Taste of Italy Houston. Thanks for the introduction of GrapeIn. I have a question. Is this platform helping distributors like me to sell what we import already? Our portfolio is made of small producers of wine and beer, so we face the same problem when products are in our warehouse. Simonetta from Love to Eat.
Jack, I can see you nodding your head knowingly. You want to jump in here?
Yeah, sure. So our goal is to streamline the communication between the small brands and whoever represents them and the trade buyer. Now, a lot of times, specialized importers, we like to call them specialized importers, are de facto represent the brand in a specific market. So in this case, it sounds like this small distributor is representing the brand in behalf of the producer in a certain market. And we do have importers and small distributors who like using the platform because, as mentioned, without going very specific on other platforms on the industry, I really think that all of the platforms are a good progress forward. But to some extent, one of the things that that is in front of us when developing GrapeIn is to help the producers and help the supply side. And a lot of the solutions that are available out there in the services are pretty much helping the bigger distributors and to some extent perpetuate the 3-tier, right? So yeah, we're all about helping the brand owner, whether it's a specialized importer that has distribution licenses in a small market, or ideally the producer themselves, and connect them, become a tool for them to use when they sell, to enhance the sell experience, and also to take advantage of technology and online advertising to complete the picture, especially nowadays with COVID, where there's less feet on the street. You need more than just, picking up the phone. You also need to use marketing and use other tools in order to compete in this market.
I got to jump in and just say really quick, and what Jack's saying is so right on. And to Simonetta's question, yeah, your rep is going to be out there, but all of a sudden you're going to have this whole online platform that allows you literally to have direct contact. I mean, think about selling wine in America 5 years ago, when a rep who'd never even been to the winery was out selling the wine, only knows what's on the sheet in front of him that's been given to him or her. Today, you're going to be like, hey, let's dial in to, you could be doing a work with, as we call it in the business, and be dialed in with the producer. Another question, Maurizio, can you throw out?
Yes, we do have another one from Stra Italian. Who's going to approve label with TTB, pick up the wine, ship, and who's going to store the wine?
Do you want to take that again, Jack? Or
Sure. So up until recently, our focus has been to build a platform as a marketing and communication platform. Our next step is to also help you with these distribution-related clearance and logistics services. And one of the things that we actually built with the Iacc is to start and go through this bridge of figuring out how, by aggregating a lot of producers together, we can also offer these logistics services. Currently, we are mostly working with suppliers who already have some sort of distribution in the US, helping them expand their distribution and connect with more distributors. But soon we're going to launch our platform, our service that will also offer the logistics and clearance services. And that's part of the registration. Once you register to GrapeIn, we're going to eventually identify the good candidates for our first cohort.
Really, really great stuff. We're starting to run out of time here, but Maurizio, you want to have one more question?
One more question, which comes from Robert. It says, what is being done to publicize the GrapeIn?
Jack?
Should I take it? Yeah. So we're running online advertising for our own benefit as well. So to some extent, we eat our own dog food in terms of whatever we do in order to generate demand and bring traffic and bring buyers to the platform in order to serve the brands that are on the platform. At the same time, it also builds a platform. So we're kind of building an ecosystem where brands and sellers bring buyers to the platform. And then we track these buyers and keep them informed, remind them about the platform. And this creates some sort of a loop that brings more sellers and then it brings more buyers. And they all meet online on our platform. So we use a lot of the tools and technologies that we're pitching for the benefit of growing the platform. And also gladly, our mission is well perceived and a lot of people connect to it in the industry. So we also get a lot of word of mouth and good positive PR going on. So that also helps.
Really, really great stuff. And I just got to say, as we are out of time right now. I know Maurizio is going to show a slide. You can email the chamber and we'll put you in touch with Jack. We'll put you in touch with Ron. We're here to follow up. We're just out of time, but man, this conversation, I want to get on another call with the same group of people and just talk more about the whole history of the 3-tier system and what these guys are doing to revolutionize it. I will say this, the only wine I want to taste more right now than Ron's Vino Nobile is that Guturnio that you kept showing us. So I learned about a new wine that I didn't know just by being on this call that I want to try. And that's an example of the power of this platform. It's really, really exciting stuff. I'm planning to do a post on it on my own blog. We're going to post about it on the Iacc blog. And again, don't hesitate to email us. We can put you in touch with them. Please sign up for Taste of Italy. It's going to be a really interesting experience this year. So I want to thank all of our panelists. Thank you, Jenny in LA, Ron and Jack. Ron, I think you're in New York too. I know Jack's in Brooklyn. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so looking forward to learning more and getting to work with you guys. Really, really interesting stuff. Thank you to Maurizio and the Chamber for making this possible.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Webinars. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you again. Bye.